In the near future, Earth was suffering from a global energy crisis. In response, humanity built the Cloverfield Station to test and launch the Shepard particle accelerator into space. The goal was simple. If the mission succeeded, it would provide an unlimited supply of energy for the entire planet, potentially preventing wars over dwindling resources. Ava Hamilton received an invitation to join the crew for a 6-month mission in orbit. Although she was reluctant to leave her husband, Michael convinced her to accept. He reminded her that even the mission commander, fully aware of their family struggles, insisted on her participation, a clear sign of her importance. Michael told her she was exceptionally talented, and that if she went and did her job, both Earth and their family might have a chance to survive. The Shepard team traveled into orbit and began their experiments. However, initial tests failed, and the crew ended up spending 2 years aboard the station. Ava contacted Michael daily, and he kept her informed about the worsening situation on Earth. Oil wars were escalating, energy sources were almost gone, and as a result, hunger, disease, and social collapse were spreading. Ava shared her own concerns. They only had enough fuel for 3 more attempts. If they failed again, the mission would be declared a failure. Michael tried to encourage her, but their connection was suddenly lost. Ava then watched a video of her children playing and broke down in tears in front of the screen. Later, she went to the bridge where the rest of the crew was resting. Suddenly, the mechanic Volkov began venting his frustrations. He said he had done his job honestly, yet the accelerator still didn't work. In his view, the fault lay with the German physicist Schmidt. Volkov added that Germany appeared to be preparing for war, and more Russians were starving every day, while Schmidt showed no urgency. At this, Schmidt lunged at Volkov. The others quickly intervened, trying to calm them and reminding everyone of the mission's importance. For a time, tensions eased. Later, the crew prepared for the next Shepard launch. Scientists warned that if the attempt failed, it might make parallel realities permeable. This could lead to monsters or demons seeping into the human world, or cause time itself to become unstable, threatening global catastrophe. Volkov calibrated the gyroscope while Monk recited a strange prayer, asking for strength to save humanity and prevent war. The Shepard launched. A countdown began, and the system worked. A massive surge of energy flowed from the accelerator, but then everything stopped. The ship began to shake. Explosions erupted outside the station. The crew was thrown around as a fire alarm went off on the lower deck. The fire suppression system failed, forcing them to activate ventilation manually. When the emergency passed, the crew began assessing the damage. During repairs, they noticed numerous anomalies. Communication with Earth was down, the electrical system had failed, and the internal temperature was rising rapidly. Ava then delivered a shocking announcement. Earth had vanished from view. Initially, no one believed her. Some theorized they'd been thrown to a distant part of the galaxy or flipped in orientation. The crew scattered across the station in search of the planet, while Ava attempted to contact Michael. All in vain. No signals were getting through, and Earth was nowhere to be seen. Arguments broke out, with everyone assigning blame. Some even feared that they had destroyed the entire planet. Eventually, the captain gathered everyone around the table and urged them to stop fighting and focus on surviving. Only then would they discover the truth. He assigned roles. Volkov reported that the orientation system had changed after the Shepard rebooted, suggesting a problem with the gyroscope. But when Ava went to check it, she discovered it had vanished entirely, making it impossible to determine the ship's coordinates. Then, a crew member said he felt something strange, like the skin on his face was crawling. He asked Ava to take a look, but before she could, a terrifying scream echoed from the corridor. The crew rushed toward the sound and began searching the rooms. Eventually, Tam pointed to a wall from which the scream seemed to originate. She suggested removing the panel, but others warned it might be dangerous. Despite the risks, the engineers took the panel off. To their horror, they discovered a woman seemingly fused with the wires and life support pipes of the ship. No one recognized her, yet she addressed Ava by her last name, repeatedly saying she didn't know what was happening and begging for help. The crew cut her free and carried her to the medical bay. Upon removing her clothes, they saw wires running through her body, causing immense pain. She was sedated. Meanwhile, on Earth, Michael heard explosions outside. He checked social media and read posts claiming the end of the world had begun. People were urging others to flee the cities. Michael called his hospital, knowing he was needed there, but no one answered. Back on the station, the crew continued arguing about the mysterious woman, possible repair strategies, and how to locate Earth. They all agreed that everything stemmed from the Shepard. They connected the injured woman to a cellular regeneration accelerator and returned to work. None noticed that the arcade machine figurines began spinning on their own. In the lab, Mundy discovered that the worms from their sealed aquarium had vanished. Simultaneously, Tam and Schmidt, though romantically involved, got into a heated argument. Meanwhile, Volkov once again felt something moving beneath his skin. His eye began rotating unnaturally in its socket. He started talking to someone inside his own head, arguing, then agreeing. He walked to the 3D printer and printed a gun. With a weapon in hand, Volkov stormed onto the bridge and pointed it at Schmidt, accusing him of working for German intelligence. Tam and Schmidt tried to reason with him, confused by his behavior. Volkov insisted that Schmidt had been ordered to sabotage the launch. Suddenly, Schmidt collapsed and began convulsing. Volkov vomited out the missing worms and died. The crew was stunned. No one noticed that the mysterious woman appeared in an old photo of the previous crew. Moments later, she regained consciousness. She introduced herself as Mina and said the last thing she remembered was going to help Mundy. She claimed to have been on the station for 2 years with the same crew, except Tam. Ava objected, saying Tam had built the Shepard and was vital to the mission, but Mina claimed she had created it. Her team had also been trying to activate the accelerator for 2 years without success. She added that Ava was her best friend, one who had stayed on Earth in her world. Most importantly, Mina warned that Schmidt had sabotaged the mission to help Germany defeat Russia. Furious, the commander attacked Schmidt, beat him, and locked him in a compartment, claiming he had decoded messages proving Schmidt's guilt. On Earth, catastrophic events unfolded. A mysterious force was destroying everything in its path. Michael drove toward the hospital only to find that communication with the station had been lost. Amid burning ruins, he rescued a girl trapped under debris. Then he saw a massive shadow, an unknown monster moving in the smoke. Back on the station, Mundy was repairing a wall panel when his arm was suddenly sucked into the wall and violently torn off. The crew rushed him to the medical bay, shocked to see he was in no pain. They realized new rules governed their existence now, but no one knew what those rules were. At that moment, the compartment doors containing Schmidt opened. He saw Mundy's severed hand crawling on its own. He contacted the others, and they gathered on the main deck, trapping the rogue hand under an aquarium. Schmidt proposed a theory. 2 universes had collided and merged at a single point, creating chaos as they fought for dominance. Mundy noticed the hand wanted to write something. Given a pen, it scribbled a message. They needed to open Volkov's body. At the med bay, Tam performed the operation and found the missing gyroscope. With it, the crew determined their coordinates. Somehow, they had ended up in another part of the solar system. But now, they knew how to return. Ava received transmissions from Earth, but the news was grim. A global war had been raging for 14 months. The Cloverfield Station was presumed destroyed, believed to have crashed into the ocean. The crew realized they were in an alternate reality and that the accelerator had caused an overlap of dimensions. To return home, they needed to relaunch the Shepard. Quantum entanglement would work in reverse, pulling them back. Some argued that landing here would be safer, but Schmidt proved that doing so wouldn't save their original reality. On Earth, Michael drove the rescued girl to a hospital, only to learn it had been destroyed. He found a friend with a shelter, drove there, and provided medical help. Back on the station, Mina thanked Monk for his professionalism, and shared her theory about the accident. She warned that escaping her reality would trap her in theirs. Meanwhile, Tam investigated the ventilation system, which had activated just as everything began to break down. She found a water leak, but then became trapped in an airlock that rapidly filled with water. She sent out a distress signal. The crew rushed to help, but the hatch wouldn't open. Eventually, the pressure broke the external seal, causing the water to freeze instantly and killing Tam. Devastated, the crew believed their only hope was gone. But Ava remembered Mina. On Earth, Michael received confirmation that the station had vanished. He asked authorities to help locate the girl's parents. Then came another terrifying scream from outside. Mina agreed to repair the Shepard in exchange for a shuttle and the schematics to return home. Ava brought her clothes, and Mina revealed that in her dimension, her family was still alive. On Ava's Earth, her children had died in a fire caused by a faulty fuel cell she installed. Mina played a message from Ava 2's family, where Ava 2 never joined the mission, and everyone lived. After analyzing all options, the crew decided to shut off oxygen temporarily to power the accelerator. Ava told the captain she would do anything to bring them home, but she would remain behind to warn Ava 2 about the fire. Later, Mundy began the shutdown. Suddenly, magnetic activity flared, and wires ignited. Half the station was ripped from the command module. Realizing the danger, the crew agreed they had to jettison the spinning ring. The captain, Ava, and Monk went outside. The captain insisted on doing the manual release himself. He sent the others back, yanked the valve, and vanished into space with the debris. On Earth, Michael learned the girl's parents had been found. He recorded a message for his wife, asking for another chance. On the station, Ava took command and gave the order to launch the Shepard. She handed Monk the ignition key and went to the escape pod with Mina. But Mina knocked Ava unconscious, grabbed a pistol, and headed to the bridge. She wanted to keep the station and save her Earth. She shot Monk and took the launch keys. Ava regained consciousness and pursued her. Schmidt tried to stop Mina and was wounded. Mina told Ava that sacrificing 3 lives here to save 8 million in her world was the only rational choice. She raised her weapon, but Schmidt intervened again, and Ava grabbed the keys. Ava fled. Mina gave chase, and tried to lure her out with a recording of her children. Ava struggled with the temptation to remain in the world where they lived, but chose to return. She ejected Mina through a broken viewport into space. Then, she recorded a message for Ava 2, attached the Shepard schematics, and sent them to Earth 2. With Schmidt, Ava launched the accelerator and returned to their original dimension. They contacted Earth to report success and began descent. But reality had changed. Michael was informed that Ava was returning, and screamed in despair, she must not come back. As he tried to stop the landing, the descent capsule broke through the clouds, and a towering monster raised its head and roared. The Cloverfield Paradox was the third film in the franchise, telling the story of colliding worlds and humanity's struggle against threats from parallel dimensions. How it would end, no one could say. What did you think? Did the ending surprise you, or were you expecting it all along? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next movie breakdown. Want more? Check out our recap of similar movie right here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.